Oh.
And then you have to figure it out. You have to relearn it. Okay, and I see one person, and now we should be live on Facebook, and we should be live on there. Hi, Joe. How are you? Now streaming. Okay, we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are live, baby. We are live here.
Hello.
Hi, Joe. If you might be muted, or you don't have your audio on. So welcome anyway, Joe. Let me just check online. All right. All right. Well, welcome. We're going to wait a couple of more minutes to allow some people to try and come in. But I do want to welcome everybody and say hello. Welcome to In the Loop, Lupus Live with our supporter, Felicia Stewart. And then we will start in a few minutes. No matter how many come on here, we have some people on Facebook. We have some people on Instagram. Let me get to the chat quick. How have you been, Felicia? How was your trip?
Oh, to Seattle?
Yes.
It was really nice. It was beautiful.
Awesome.
Very peaceful, nice breeze. Nice to get around some water. Living in the desert, you know, that's always good.
The water is always good.
Yeah.
So, in the loop. All right, we'll wait about one more minute and then we'll get started with the interview. I cannot spell for the life of me today. All right, let's get started. Just fix this up for Instagram so they're actually seeing us and not my feet. And that always works. All right, so welcome everybody to Lupus Live. And we are speaking today with Felicia Cassandra. She is a makeup artist, am I correct?
Yes.
And she has some great information that she is going to share with us about our skin and how important it is to keep and maintain healthy skin. And then she's going to give us some information about a product, a special product that she has just for lupus warriors that will be so helpful in keeping your skin as healthy as it can be as you're dealing with lupus. But before we start that, let me just say first, I have to put my disclaimer out there all of the time. Anything that you hear with Lupus in Color here online is just a suggestion. It's just our opinion and it's for educational purposes only. If you plan on changing anything in your medical regimen, whether it be for your skin, whether it be for medication or anything like that, please, please, please check with your doctor first before you change anything in your regimen. Take the samples, take everything with you to the doctor so he can see what it is. And once we get finished, then we can ask how we can get the information from Felicia to, you know, give more information about what she does and what she has in her products. So without further ado, how are you, Felicia?
I'm doing great. I'm really, really excited to be here. I've followed you for years, so it's an honor.
So happy that you're here. I'm so happy that we were finally able to get together and start something and see what people think about everything that you're doing with your lupus advocacy. So if you can, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you do. Tell us how you became a part of the lupus advocacy groups.
Okay. So it's kind of a long story, but I'll streamline it. I've been a makeup artist over the last 12 years here in Las Vegas. Oops, I lost a light. Hold on. Cool. I've been a makeup artist out here in Las Vegas for about 12 years. And my stepmom actually passed away from lupus.
Okay.
And so she had the butterfly rash.
Right.
And I ended up getting involved in Colors of Lupus charities and meeting a special client that inspired me to make a skincare for butterfly rash.
Wow, what was her name?
Latasha T. Baby Ellis.
Oh.
She was spicy and pizzazzy and full of life.
Oh, good. And once you started talking with her, did you just get like a feeling that this is what you're supposed to be doing?
Yes, because when I was brought to this client, I was already told that she would take special time from me and that it was going to be really hard for her to remove the makeup because there was a lot of scarring. And it took me some time of getting to know her. I promised I would put all the makeup back and more for the photo shoot, but I really wanted to look and just kind of see what was going on and what the issue was. And as we removed the makeup, I just saw a lot of scarring. And I felt like some of it could have been prevented. So I felt like I needed to come out with something and I needed to do something.
Well, that's interesting that you said that, because as a makeup artist, you can look at someone's skin and see how things could have been changed or how things could have been avoided, and really sit and say, wow, I can stop what I'm doing and really try and figure out what I can do to make it a difference in that person's life. So I'm sure that you made a difference in her life when you were applying the makeup. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. What was her feeling prior to you applying the makeup and then after?
She felt very insecure about the scarring. And as we removed the makeup, I just wondered what I could recommend her, because after 12 years of being in the skincare industry, I recommend skincare all the time. And there was just nothing that I felt confident to recommend. So we went with aloe.
Okay. And that made a complete difference?
It made a difference because like when you have a skin flare, your skin gets very, very inflamed. And after the inflammation and the rising with the red bumps, it becomes scabs, almost similar to that of a sunburn. So that's what made me think aloe vera, because as it's drying and it's becoming that scab, it's flaking off and it's starting to tear the skin and becoming scarring.
Right. So you were really in tune with what you needed to really work on while you were even speaking to her, just looking at her and trying to figure out what was going on.
Well, my grandfather is a dermatologist, so skin has always been a huge interest for me. And I felt very upset at the beauty industry that there wasn't anything out there without chemicals that I could feel okay with putting on it.
Right. And that's important. That's very important, because at least you were able to really have some type of knowledge, because your family was in dermatology. You already had the knowledge there. You kind of crafted it to really go for a lupus warrior.
Yes. So
now, go ahead.
I knew that I would need to have like about 5 good anti-inflammatory ingredients. I knew there needed to be something for the pain. Right. And I knew that we had to work with aloe vera.
Right.
So that's how I created the formulation.
Awesome. What is the most important thing you believe you can do to assist with lupus awareness? through what you're doing, what do you think you can do to assist with like spreading lupus awareness, and what are you doing now? Because I know you're doing a lot of things now.
I want to change the industry. I think it's really unfair that lupus has been around for so long and there's just no skin research about it. There's nothing to recommend. There's no YouTube videos. Even when you go as a makeup artist, or let's say you're just newly diagnosed with lupus, there's no resource. There's
Right.
no resource there. There's nothing on YouTube for makeup hacks with the butterfly rash. There's no skincare tips.
Right.
So I wanted to shake down the foundation and change that.
That's important. That's important because a lot of people don't think that far ahead. You know what I mean? They don't think that far ahead to know that this is important and this is a situation that is not being handled. Even though we all might have dermatologists, oftentimes being given steroid creams and things of that nature. But if you can do something natural, that's awesome.
Yeah, and there needs to be something in between doctor visits just to kind of soothe and to take that firing feeling away. That's why I added the vitamin E to try to prevent scarring. Like, I felt that we deserved something in the industry just for the butterfly rash. And I was surprised that no one else tried to ever do it.
That's very interesting. Yeah, because, you know, in between it's very hard to deal with it, because if the medicine that you're given is not working, what can you do to really bring that feeling of calmness back into the, did we lose her?
Now you can see me. My light turned off.
You know, it's real important that you bring that back into reality, because the reality is some of the things that are given do not work. And the only thing that will work is, you know, natural things that people have been using for years.
And so when I've seen the butterfly rash, it actually really reminds me of a sunburn. And as we know, we get that sun sensitivity. UV rays are our enemy with that. And it almost has a reaction on the skin where it becomes blistering. So it did remind me of what I would need to treat a sunburn, to keep it from doing the scarring and hurting so bad and feeling fiery. So instantly I thought aloe, I thought chamomile, I thought cucumber. And then I added the arnica in for the pain, which is what injectors use to keep bruises away. And it's a natural antiseptic and it numbs pain. It's made from a flower.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you learn something new every day. I've never known that. And the name of it is what?
Arnica.
Arnica.
Arnica. It's a natural pain reliever from the earth. It's a flower. So I just thought anti-inflammatory, soothing, let's take the fire away.
Right.
And then vitamin E, let's prevent the scarring.
Right. And that you hit it right on the nose. You know, in order for us to feel better, those are the things we have to tackle. You know, we have to tackle the burning sensation, the scarring, the lupus lesions that we get. You know, so that's real important. I'm glad that you really are so I don't even know how to say it. It's just like you understand it. You understand it. You're not going through it, but you understand where the problem is and what you need to do to create a better issue for the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. So now when you first learned about lupus and what it was, and what was your reaction? What did it startle you? Did you think it was something else? I always like to ask people who are supporting lupus warriors and doing things for lupus advocacy, what really did you think about lupus and what it was about? Oh, you are on mute. Hold on. Unmute. There we go.
So I've always known it to be a pretty invisible disease other than when you see the lesions. That's actually the only sign on the skin that you even have it. From growing up with my stepmom having it, I guess I just always knew that it brought you great pain in your joints. And the butterfly rash was really the least of the symptoms, but it was the only one that I felt that I could tackle.
Absolutely. And you're doing a great job doing it.
Thank
What do
you.
you see yourself doing as far as your lupus goals? What do you see yourself giving to the lupus community that is going to just totally change the trajectory of their lives?
So I've been involved in a lot of lupus charities, and a lot of times I was seeing a lot of donations that weren't actually getting to people. And this is actually charity wide, because I'm involved in about 7 of them, and there's good and there's bad charities, unfortunately. So I wanted to do something very different where I developed a community. And since I'm into crafts, making bath bombs, body creams, skincare, and all that, I thought what better way than to make my craft and to develop like a whole butterfly collection that has a lot of love and a lot of hope and inspirational quotes and donates to an actual member. Instead of just giving the money and it falls in the bucket and we never know who we helped, we're actually giving this to a member who we vote for.
And you know what? When you told me that when we first met, I was like, awesome. That's exactly what I love. I love it because what Lupus in Color is about, all of the larger organizations are great. I love them.
Right.
They've done their part and they have their place. But sometimes it's the smaller organizations that really touch the people personally. And that's important to me. You know, it's important that you really remember your first experience with a lupus warrior. You know, so how does that make you feel?
I am super excited to just reach out across the state board to one person and be like, we read your story. Guess what? We're helping you. And I see this going so many places. I see myself going to different states to bring people money and to bless them. And us making something for the greater good and taking care of ourselves. You know, self-care is a big thing for mental health and going through anything. Absolutely. It helps you stay strong, to love yourself, to take care of yourself. So we're actually doing self-care, and then we're enjoying the butterfly, and then we're able to actually reach out and touch someone that we all vote for together. We're all voting on the scents. We're all voting on colors. So it's kind of a collaboration between a community, reaching out to real people in our community that we've grown to know. Right. And we have 700 members so far and growing. So
look at you, because when I first met you, you weren't at 700 members.
Yeah.
You are growing, and that is awesome because you're doing such great work. You're doing, you know, you're caring, you're empathizing, and you're really touching people, and that's important. You know,
I've made a lot of amazing friends through this.
Yes. Yes.
Really.
Yes. Now, when you're working with your craft and you get a little stuck, what is your go-to fight song, like, that's gonna make you do it?
Thank You for My Reason to Live. This. And it reminds me of all the sisters in our community. It says, thank you for all my reasons to live, my sister.
I love it.
Yeah, so just
I asked that question because you know what? How you run your business is how you're going to interact with our lupus warriors. And if they can see that you are empathetic and you're caring and you're compassionate, and you know, it shows through what you listen to, it shows through what you're writing, it shows through what you're doing in your own community. And we'll give you all that community information at the end. But it's amazing what you're doing at this point.
Thank you. It's from the heart.
Yeah, well, that's all it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
How long does it take for you to create I think I heard you call it the butterfly serum? How long does it usually take for you to create that?
The butterfly nectar. I actually had to get that manufactured from a scientist in an FDA approved lab. So that wasn't something I could just make at home. I do make the bath bombs and the body whips. And I do make the t-shirts, but I definitely don't make the FDA approved cream. I just gave him the ingredients I wanted and he added a couple things and formulated it.
Okay. So some things that you said that are important, FDA approved and scientifically led.
Right. I couldn't have done that myself.
That's important. That's important to know. That's really important to know because a lot of people, they offer certain things, but it hasn't been tested. It's kind of going off on a whim. And when you have some science behind it and you can see that it's actually going something that can work and has worked before, then it's good to
So
use.
our manufacturer is Botanics Beauty here in Las Vegas. It's a local company and he's been an organic formulator for over 25 years now by the
Wow.
Raiders Stadium. Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm learning stuff every day. Every
It
single
took
day,
a,
I learn something new about
that
you.
was that was the problem, was finding a good formulator. So
Right.
that's why it took 5 years.
Yeah. Wow, 5 years.
Yeah.
So in between the time that you had the thought to do it and 5 years, that must have been a difficult time.
Yeah. So at the time he was backed up, I had to get on a 2-year waiting list to even get manufactured by him. I had to save up the money. I had to do my research and I had to figure out packaging. I had to figure out FDA approval. I had to figure out licensing. I had to figure out boxes, how to ship things. So yeah, it was definitely a process.
Yeah, a definite process that you worked hard through
Yeah.
and fought to get to where you are today.
And there were a lot of stagnant moments. So that's when I started designing the butterfly labels and the butterfly inspiration, because I needed to keep my creative juices flowing.
Right. Right. Yeah. Us creative folks, we can't just sit around and wait. You gotta keep it moving. You gotta keep it moving. What is the quote that kept you from day one to year 5?
Behind every good woman is a bunch of butterflies.
Ooh, I like that.
It's my favorite saying because I come with a pack of people that believe in this and want it in the industry just as much as I do. And I just so happen to have some of the tools to make it happen. So without that support, I probably wouldn't have been able to do this 5-year journey this way.
Right. Right. That support is very important. Very important. Yeah. And between the support and your want and desire to have it done, it really made a difference. It really made a difference. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. Give us a little idea of how a woman should be taking care, or a man should be taking care of their skin daily. Like, what type of products can they use? What type of things are good to try and keep that inflammation down? What are your ideas on that?
So I really do like the anti-inflammatory cream that I came out with, but I haven't come out with anything to exfoliate. And I think that that's extremely important. That's something that I've always told my clients, that, no products or makeup can set right on the skin if you're not removing that dead skin. So I tell people, even olive oil and some sugar, just a little light exfoliation. Don't go too hard, but just at least once a week to remove that dead skin so that your skin can breathe.
That's what the exfoliation does. It allows your skin to breathe.
And of course, I like the butterfly nectar day and night. You can put it all over the body. You can just put it on the face, and that's going to take that inflammation down. And even when you're not in a flare, it's a great moisturizer.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So that you're touching a lot of different things that we really need to start thinking about daily.
Yeah, I would eventually like to come out with a really nice exfoliator. I'm not there yet. But I do think that you could do something really natural just once a week and then just use that cream day and night. And you'll notice a huge difference because it's got the aloe and the vitamin E and all those anti-inflammatory agents. So
that's awesome.
If you're itchy, if you got a scab, like on the face, eye area is fine as well.
Yeah, because we know that I know I get a lot of the lupus lesions even over my body. They come all over the body. Not just the face. The butterfly rash is definitely the telltale sign, but sometimes just throughout, just days, you'll get just lesions all over your body. So I'm thinking that the aloe and things like that will help with that as well.
Vitamin E, it also has candela in it, which is kind of a natural vitamin C that we find in the earth. It's a flower. So
Okay.
it kind of works as like a vitamin C or a ginseng, which helps the circulation and helps brighten skin tone. So that's in there as well.
Oh, wow. And you know
Someday
what?
I'll come out with an exfoliator.
Yeah, you're gonna need to. You're gonna need to.
Yeah.
It would be great to have you have you need to write a book. You need to write some type of I guess lupus manifesto as to how to care for your skin on a daily basis. That would be great to have.
I would also like to mention, if you do that DIY, make your own exfoliator, if you are during a flare, don't do it. You don't
Right.
want to do it for about 2 weeks until that flare has healed up and you just want to do the cream day and night. But you would only do that maybe once a week after the flare is healed. So I
Okay.
want to make sure everybody knows that. Don't do it in an active flare.
Yeah, because you don't want to act, just make the flare worse than it really is.
Yeah, you're just wanting to calm the skin with the aloe and the anti-inflammatories while you're in a flare.
So the exfoliation actually just you said it removes stuff from the skin.
Yeah, I would do a make it yourself DIY exfoliator if you don't have one at home once a week, just to make sure that the skincare is really going into the skin, because especially if you live like me in the desert, it's kind of like a piece of tape on the outside of your skin, so the moisture can't get in.
Gotcha.
So
I got you.
other than that, just day and night.
Okay. And then you talked about moisturizing. Tell me more of how important it is to moisturize.
Okay, so the reason that it's very important to moisturize is because it allows your skin to circulate. It allows your skin to breathe on your face, on your body. It's allowing your skin to breathe. It's allowing your skin to detox. And then with hydration, that's, preventing a lot of wrinkles, a lot of scabbing, scars in general. Just hydration, it's just as important as water. We're 50% made of moisture and water. So it's very important.
Very important, very important. I think a lot of people steer away from moisturizing because they don't know what's in the product, and they're not well versed in what to use, and they end up not using anything.
Right. And then that's with the flare, that's probably the worst thing that you can do. And it's scary because you don't want to put chemicals on there. You don't want something that's going to make it more irritated. But if you leave it be, it is just like a sunburn, and it is going to scab and it is going to flake. And that's where you have the risk of the scarring. So.
Right. And you can moisturize everywhere. You should be moisturizing your hair. You should be moisturizing your skin. You should be hydrating your body, because I think that's just as important as putting something on your physical skin as to what you put in your body as well, correct?
Correct, definitely. And that's why I try to put a lot of the vitamins in the skincare as well, because we need those.
Right. Now, talk to me about, it's summertime, it's becoming, it's from spring to summer now. Talk to us about actually using sunscreen, and if that is important, if it helps us, if it harms us, how should we be using it?
Absolutely. SPF 50 every single morning, every single afternoon is very, very important with lupus skin, because you're very, very sensitive to the light. So it could cause an instant lesion to not have that SPF 50 on. So I think a physical sunscreen, SPF 50, and then you do want to reapply that in about 6 or 8 hours is very, very important.
And that's
I did want to include SPF in my moisturizer. The only reason that I did not is because SPF sits on the surface of the skin. So it's a larger molecule. So it sits on that surface of the skin. So if I were to put that in the moisturizer, it would never really penetrate the skin and calm the skin down, and you wouldn't get all the anti-inflammatory because it would only stay on the surface.
Okay. That's good to know. A lot of Black women or Black men might think that they don't need sunscreen or anything like that. Could you touch on that topic?
No matter what amount of melanonin you have in your skin, also known as pigmentation, you definitely want to protect it, because no matter what, if you have a sensitivity to the skin with the sun, it's going to cause blisters and long-term scarring. SPF is important.
It has happened to me. And just to piggyback off of what you stated, I've been in the sun or I've shaded myself, I've put on sunscreen, and I still can get those blisters and things and sun poisoning and things of that nature. So just to be careful, especially during the spring and summer months, where you want to be out in the sun and you want to have fun and things of that nature, it's real important that lupus warriors understand that even if you're applying some of this stuff, it's not 100%. You have to be diligent and going inside from the sun and taking breaks and things of that nature, because I am so much witness of getting sick from just, thinking that I was doing the right thing, reapplying and things of that nature, but not realizing that one of the most important self-care things is to know when you are at a peak and know when to stop. So I just wanted to put that portion on there. That's
definitely. I think that big floppy hats are not only fashionable, but they're our best friend, because they do that 365 sun shielding. And then one of the things that I'm really loving in the industry right now is SPF 50 setting spray. So this is something I've been recommending for my clients, and it's not my product, but it's SPF 50 setting spray. So after your makeup, after your skincare, do SPF 2. They now have like generic setting sprays at Ulta, about $10, $13. You can just spray that on and it's got the SPF 50 for you. And that's going to create a huge shield.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a good point. It's a very good idea, and I have to look into that. I definitely have to look into that.
We want all the SPF we can get and all the hydration.
Right. Whether it be on your skin or through some water.
Right.
And we know too much of anything is not good for you. So like you said, that the DIY exfoliation and everything like that, you should only do that once a week. But they can do that on other parts of their body. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Like that.
And any kind of exfoliators, I am going to be coming out with like a sunflower sugar scrub that won't have all the chemicals. And I guess that's why I'm coming out with the butterfly collection, because I don't want all those chemicals in there. Right. There's just so many chemicals in all of our beauty products nowadays, especially if we're dealing with skin lesions. I just wouldn't want to recommend that.
Right. Someone says, and I'm going on Instagram right now, and I disagree with what the person is saying, because I do think that people with melanin in their skin really do need sunscreen. She stated, I disagree. Melanated people don't need sunscreen. We are the sun. We absorb the sun. Our chromosomes are connected to the chromosphere of the sun. I love the way that sounds, but the reality of the fact is that if we don't take care of our skin, the earth will, the sun will corrode it. We all know someone that has some skin issues. And even though you might have a darker skin, it's real important to still take care of it and still be safe, especially when you have lupus. You want to touch on that a little bit more for me?
Absolutely. So we've known for centuries that if you have more melanonin in your skin, you are more equipped to go out in the sun. And that is 100% true. But if you have lupus, you have a different type of skin sensitivity to the sun. And I don't know if that is affected by melanonin or not. And to be honest with you, I haven't researched on that. So it's kind of an interesting thought. But my theory would be, yes, that's true, but let's make an exception for skin sensitivity towards the sun with lupus, because that's a little bit different.
Absolutely. And she says, she has lupus, but the sun actually makes her feel better. But that goes to the fact where we all have lupus, right. Who are in the lupus community, we all have lupus, but we know that lupus affects people so differently. One person can stay out in the sun. Another person can't. Like me, I can't be out in the sun. Somebody might be able to use a specific product or a specific drug, but the other lupus warrior does not or cannot use those particular drugs that person uses. It's just real important. I appreciate your question, by the way. It's just real important for us to understand that there is a big difference, even though we share the same disease, how our body is reacting and how our body is manifesting that disease is going to be different.
Very true. And I think that that was really good feedback. And in fact, I think it's really positive to know that, there are women out there with lupus that are okay with going in the sun.
Absolutely.
But I think that that would be the exception to the rule.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess it's, when you think about it, it's about 60 to 70% of people have photosensitivity that
Mhm.
have lupus. So there's always that 40% that don't, but something else may affect you totally different. But that was a great question. I appreciate your statement. I appreciate your response, Felicia.
Definitely.
Let me just look on here. I'm looking to see if there's any other questions. Another young lady stated she can't stay in the sun for 5 minutes. So like I said, lupus
Right.
can go from person to person and be totally different. Same disease, totally different in certain ways, but the same in other ways.
Absolutely. And I think that you know your own body and you know the way that you're reacting. And it's very important to pay attention to that and develop your routine based on that.
Absolutely.
Because it is individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people all the time, use a journal, whether it be a food journal, a mood journal, whatever type of journal you think will help you to keep your knowledge of your own body intact. And use that journal that, if you go outside in the sun for 10 minutes and you come back and now you have hives, you might want to stay out the sun. If you're writing that down, you have a place to go back to so that you can say to yourself, oh, I went out this time and I got sick, or I ate this and I got sick. And it helps you to really just get yourself together, knowing your own body with lupus.
And I think that that's one of the things that's so interesting about our lupus communities is that because the disease is so different, we are able to connect with people across the world with different symptoms and different stories. It's so versatile and so individual.
It definitely is. And as is individual, it becomes just the same. It's still down to your body attacking itself.
Right.
And even though it's different, it's somehow the same. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting in your body and how your body reacts to things. It's just very interesting to me. I should have been a doctor, but I didn't want to go to school that long.
Right. And honestly, even the butterfly rash is different for everyone. I've seen lesions. I've seen blisters right off the bat. I've seen just raised bumps that later turn into scabs and cause the most scarring, even though they had the least amount of an impact when they first appeared on the skin. So even that's extremely individual.
Yeah, it definitely is. Someone was talking about on Instagram. She says she exercises one day and the next day she'll be in pain, and that's understandable. It happens to all of us.
Right.
But I wanted to touch on that little exercise piece, because I do exercise and a lot of people exercise and then they're sweating. And, what do you suggest that they're using, even as they're exercising, to either minimize the sweat or just prevent any type of breakouts from the sweat? Does that make sense, that question?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say just work out with a clean face. I do like a little moisturizer on when I'm working out because I'm dry. So it just depends on your skin type. But I would say so that there's no bacteria, work out with a clean face. Sweating is not going to hurt your skin in any way. It actually doesn't cause breakouts. It's your natural sebum. But if you wanted to get rid of that sweat for cosmetic reasons, you could definitely use an oil absorbing primer. And I would probably recommend a nice organic one that doesn't have any chemicals in it.
Okay. And what type of organic products do you know of that lupus warriors might be able to use?
For moisturizer, the butterfly nectar, which is mine. For setting spray SPF 50, I would recommend the Ulta Beauty for like about $12. It's just a generic version, but they've gone very, very natural. For an oil absorbing primer, I would recommend Coots. It's a very well-known COTZ. It's a very well-known organic SPF that's really nice and light. It kind of has a powdery feel to it. Okay. And it just absorbs the oil and disappears. There's no color or anything to that.
Okay. Awesome. Those are good ideas. Good Good points. Good points.
For
Let's see.
foundation, I would probably recommend the Lancome oil-free, or I would recommend the Bare Minerals oil-free. They're both very, very lightweight foundations with full coverage. They allow the skin to breathe and not sweat, and there's no oils.
Gotcha. And that can help to keep the skin safe, number one.
Yeah.
Healthy as you're dealing with lupus in between your visits with your dermatologist.
Yep.
How do you suppose that, a lot of us have probably had the issue with having prednisone and things of that nature, and some of the steroid creams that our doctors give us? How do you talk to a doctor about, going organic and using products that don't have as much chemicals as something like a steroid cream would have?
Well, I think no matter what, during flares, your doctor is going to want you to do a steroid cream, which I'm totally supportive of that. I do feel long-term use can cause flaking of the skin. So definitely use my butterfly nectar with the aloe and all the inflammation and the vitamin E in between, but definitely stick with doing that during flares, because that's what's going to actually take it down. Right. All I can do is soothe it, keep it from scarring, and keep it from burning. And then you're going to need the steroid cream during doctor visits, but I would only use it for the minimal that you are recommended to use it, and then try to not do it, and then wait 2 weeks to exfoliate, and then get back to using a soothing cream. Because, like any steroid, it can wreak havoc.
Yeah, it really can. It can discolor the skin as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing you saying is that the butterfly nectar will help.
Yeah. It's got all those vitamins for all the skin. It's got the anti-inflammatory. The turmeric is one of the #1 anti-inflammatories found in skincare. And then it's got cucumber chamomile, and then it's got arnica for the pain, which is a natural flower. And then vitamin E to prevent the scarring. So I would do that day and night, and then just do your steroid cream when you're in a really, really bad part of your flare, and then get off of it as soon as you can and get back to your regular routine. And of course, SPF 50, very important.
If you're using some of your products, or even things that have the things that your product might have, you're minimizing your opportunities to flare up again.
Right. You're minimizing, because you got to think, like, what is the effect on the skin when you put like a chamomile bag on it? It's instantly taken down that inflammation. What does a cucumber do for the eye area? It instantly takes that swelling down. So that's why I put all those anti-inflammatories in there. But I will always say use SPF above it. It's very important. And I've been wearing big floppy hats all summer. I think they're fashionable.
I love them. I love them. I'll put on a big old floppy hat in a minute.
Yeah.
I'll go to a store and I'll have on a big old floppy hat. People are like, what's wrong with you? And hey, it's me.
Yeah, I'm on a sailboat by myself.
I'm me. I'm who I am. Take it or leave it. So I want to start wrapping up, because I want to be respectful of your time. And I know our time difference is just crazy. So tell me about your actual company, and tell us how we can start to support you and support your cause.
Sure. So my actual company name is Flower Power Bath Co. It's a multi-charity fundraiser company. So I work with St. Jude's, I work with domestic violence. I work with a different lupus charity, but the butterfly collection is all going to be on my lupus group, Lupus Wellness and Self-Care. So we'll have lupus t-shirts, we'll have the butterfly collection, which are the butterfly embroidered body creams. We're going to have spoon necklaces. I'm making spoon necklaces and butterfly necklaces. Awesome. And then we'll have the butterfly nectar for the actual first cream for lupus butterfly rash.
Awesome.
Way overdue.
Awesome. And I'm hoping that everybody will get on Facebook and look up Lupus Wellness and Self-Care.
Yeah.
And join her group. I'm going to put it in the chat when I can get to the without hitting my phone over. And really look at what she's doing. She's such a great supporter. We've been talking to supporters all week, and she's one of a great supporter and advocate for lupus. And it's important for us to really support her and what she's trying to do for us. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on Facebook or so D Rose says, even if there are no skin manifestations of lupus, UV rays can still trigger disease activity and affect other organs. That's a very important point. So SPF and other sun protection is super important. Thank you, D Rose. Definitely.
And vitamin D, taking vitamin D
Yes.
orally is very, very important for that specifically.
Yes, a lot of people don't realize that. Even myself, sometimes the doctor's like, your vitamin D is low. Take the vitamin D. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know how big those pills are. So
vampires, we're butterfly vampires.
Absolutely, absolutely. Someone stated that they do water aerobics. So you're saying to just have a clean face for stuff like that?
Yeah, you don't got to go crazy. It's just sweat. It's not going to hurt your skin like the sun will. That's for sure.
Right, right. Why is it? I'm trying to decipher this question. Why is it that? Oh, she gets blisters on her feet. So would you
use the cream on your feet? I actually had one of my members reach out because we did do an initial sampling of 15 samples, and she put it on one of her friends' psoriasis, where it was just itching. And because it's cucumber, it's aloe vera, it's chamomile, it's turmeric. These are all naturally found in nature to take inflammation down. If you have a bee sting, if you have a burn, so you could absolutely put it on your feet anywhere, and it would take that inflammation down. I had an allergic reaction to a necklace and I was itching, and I just put it on there and it took it away. And then it has that arnica for numbing, taking the pain away. So
that's very important.
You know what I was kind of trying to mimic? I don't know if you remember this, Calamine lotion.
Yes.
Remember Calamine lotion? You would put it on a mosquito bite and it would just take all the pain away and just soothe it.
Right, right, yeah.
So that's the concept.
Minus all of the chemicals.
Right, right. Nature's Calamine lotion.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. As a matter of fact, you sent me a sample because of my background and the light. You probably can't see it. I love it. It's very light. It has a small scent, but not a great scent.
It's calamine, or that chamomile. It's that super earthy, rooty turmeric.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to put fragrance in it because I'm thinking if I have a client that has lesions, open wounds, we can't have any fragrance in that.
Yeah.
So I think I might make it fragrance optional, where you can pick if you want fragrance, but it's only going to be an essential oil. It's not going to be hardcore alcohol fragrance.
Right, right. I mean, I love it. I love it. I've been using it daily.
I do. I carry it in my purse now.
Yeah.
It's the first one I've done that with.
To drop in your purse, or take it to the car with you and everything like that. After you moisture, you just very light and very earthy.
Yeah.
It smells so good to me. I love it. I love it.
You like it.
So give me your website.
Okay, so it's Flower Power Bath Co.
Flower Power. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Bath Co.
On bathco.com.
Yes.
All right. And then I'm going to put that in the chat here.
But everyone will be able to access the Shopify with the butterfly collection on the Lupus Wellness and Self-Care. And if they want to see more stuff, they can go to my website for sure.
Okay, awesome. Let me type that in the Instagram portion. Flower Power. My son, who usually helps me, is busy because he's graduating, so.
That's exciting.
It is. It is. It's been a long road for him. So I'm excited for him to, get into this new portion of his life.
Is he staying in Virginia?
Yes. My son is actually type 1 diabetic. So he stays close to home all the time. Ever since he was diagnosed at 12, he stays close to home, and he does everything that he needs to do. And finally got to that graduation point. So I'm pretty proud of him. Pretty proud of him.
Congratulations to you as well.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Are there any other questions? Do you have anything that you would like to end off with? Because we're coming on to the 8 o'clock hour.
No, I would just like to welcome everyone in to the Lupus Wellness and Self-Care, and then also Lupin Savages, which my friend and co-partner Keith created. I really admire what he's doing for the community because he is shining the light on male lupus, and he is spearheading that campaign. And some of the memes and the inspirational quotes that he has come out with have been amazing. So I'm just blessed for some of the people that I've got to meet in this lupus community, you being one of them as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we were able to get in contact with each other, and that we're finally in touch, and we can do some things together and get that lupus awareness and get that help out there.
Yeah.
Lupus in Color is all about educating, inspiring, encouraging, and empowering lupus warriors and their supporters. And it's so nice to feel that we are supported by people that don't even have lupus, but they are so supportive of the cause. So I'm so appreciative to be in your presence.
Thank you.
You coming on the show. I want to see if there's any other questions. I don't see them there. And I don't see anything, and nothing came into my email account. So I'm so happy that you were able to join us today.
I also want to really open the door for anyone that wants to talk to me via PM direct message. I'm totally open to making new friends and sharing any of the things that I've learned. So please, the door is always open. Talk to me. We're family.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you have an email for your company, or do you want to give us your email? So if someone does have a question, we can get it to them.
So it's Mudflower Bath Co. MUDFLOWER Bath Co.
At
Gmail, sorry. But we came out with the mudflower as our brand emblem because the mudflower grows in the mud, and she reaches her little roots until she gets to the sun, and she becomes the most extraordinary flower.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Would you type that into the chat for me? That's awesome.
Sure. So we got the butterfly and we got the lotus flower. So it's the emblem for the butterfly collection is a lily pad with a butterfly in it.
Right. Awesome. That is awesome.
So art, community, sisterhood, helping each other, creating things. That's what we're about.
And I love it because you are all definitely in line with what we're about and what we're trying to do as well. So, and that's important. I'm so happy that we were able to talk to you today.
Oh, it's great talking to you.
What's your ending statement? If you could give lupus warriors that are listening and that will listen later on, if you can give them one bit of encouragement, what would it be?
Definitely, it all starts with loving yourself and self-care, reaching out when you need a friend. We're all here in the community to lift each other up. But this cream that I came out with 5 years in the making, I have to say this is my gift to you because maybe I can't come all the way out to Philadelphia and sit with you and talk to you, but maybe I can send you this and maybe it will take your pain away and maybe it will help you with self-care and just to feel a little bit better.
Awesome. That's so important. Thank you for that. That's so important. I think sometimes we're fighting so hard and we lose focus on caring for ourselves. I feel like every lupus warrior is so busy taking care of everybody else because they're trying to remove themselves from the pain that they're feeling. And the self-care portion is so very important in order to really live well beyond lupus.
Yeah.
Very good point. Thank you so much.
I always say, take care of you, boo.
I love it. I love it. That's important. If you can't
message me anytime.
Yeah, awesome. If you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
You have to really take care of yourself before you can even think about taking care of someone else.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Felicia, for joining us today and sharing a bit of your story and sharing your company with us. I'm going to put all of this together so that people can access it on our webpage as well as our social media outlets. And I appreciate you coming on today and speaking with us today.
It's my honor. I've wanted to meet you for so long. Like I was saying, me and Keith have been doing the inspirational quotes for Lupus. I'm into the butterfly art photography, and he's really into a lot of these action characters, and they're just like bold with bold letters.
So manly.
But when I went to look for inspirational quotes for myself, yours are the most famous, and yours are #1 in the search engine. And I didn't realize I've been reading your inspirational quotes for years. So it's definitely my honor.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate it. I'm glad that it's helping someone. If I can just touch one, we're good.
Right.
So
one butterfly at a time, right?
There you go. That's how we do it. We spread it that way.
That's right.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. You'll be able to access this on our website as well as our social media outlets. Don't forget to go on over to Lupus Wellness and Self-Care over on Facebook and get to her flowerpowerbathco.com and reach out to her at mudflowerbathco@gmail.com if you have any further questions that you did not think of while you were here on this video. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We want to be respectful of your time. It is Friday night. I hope y'all aren't partying too much. But if you are, party for me. I'm probably going to get some Chinese food and relax. So
I'm just going to take a bomb bath and
go.
watch movies.
There you go. I'll take it.
That's my Friday night.
I'll take it. That's the best Friday night sometimes.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you all tuning in, and check us out at lupusandcolor.com. And please, please, please continue to visit us and reach out if you have any questions that you need to ask. All right. So I want to say thank you again, and you all have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.